Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a character file review on Last of the Summer Wine character, Wally Batty. So, Wally Batty was first mentioned in the first ever episode of Last Summer Wine, but he was referred to as the name Harold, and he had loads of pigeons, and Compo and Nora Batty make a joke about all those pigeons sort of stuff. And yeah, I think Wally is a great character because he's very like silent, kind of a bit quiet, and very kind of like a man who kind of regrets kind of marrying Nora because he doesn't really get along with her particularly. And there's really funny episodes of them two together, like going in motorbiking sidecarts, having stuff together. Even their trips on holidays and stuff in series 3, all really entertaining. I do love that kind of chemistry that Kathy Starr and Joe Gladwin have together. That seemed to be absolutely amazing, the way they played together and did all of that amazing acting together. So Joe Gladwin, absolutely amazing actor, and I think that he's great with comedy timing, everything like that. He's just absolutely amazing. Wally does also appear in the prequel to Last of the Summer Wine, which is First of the Summer Wine, where he's played by Gary Whittaker. And Gary Whittaker's portrayal of Wally Batty is slightly different to that of Joe Gladwin's, because in a way he portrays like the character is slightly more like he's like really urgent to go out with Nora Batty, which is very different to how he was in Last Summer Wine. In Last Summer Wine, he couldn't get away. He wanted to get away from her immediately. Whereas in First of the Summer Wine, he wanted to always be by her side and always there, which I've always thought was very interesting. That he was adamant to always be there, and Compo wasn't really interested in her at all during First of the Summer Wine, which brings up a few questions because I think that's mad. But yeah, he was always very eager to be with her, and there was always this thing about him wanting to grow taller and dangling himself off bridges and doing all sorts of wacky stuff like that. And yeah, I always found the character very cool. I liked both versions, Gary Whittaker's and Joe Gladwin's. I think they both play the character very well, and you can kind of see how they would have aged. So I think they do look quite similar as well, based on First Summer Wine castings. Sometimes they don't look like them, but they sell it through their performance, I think. So I think that he did a really great job, Gary Whittaker. It's amazing thinking they always say he's short, but then he's similar height to the rest of the First of the Summer Wine kind of gang, as it were. So I don't know, but really cool kind of First Summer Wine's great program. You should definitely watch it. Great prequel. Something else I can also say about First of the Summer Wine is that it's just a good prequel, really. Moving on to other things, like I mentioned, in the first time Wally ever appears, which is in Series 2, you get to see Wally. He's with Nora Batty, and they mention him, and then he appears. He's like, you go and beat him up or whatever. I think Nora pulls out Wally, and then obviously Wally's like a lot smaller than Nora Batty, and he's like, how do Compo? And I think that's his first line. And he's like, oh, you can have her and stuff like that, which is just rather amazing, really, that they have that great connection. And it's funny because they're like friends, but obviously he's not going to beat him up, is he? Because he doesn't really care that much. So I think that's a really kind of great friendship that he has with Compo, and then also the rest of the gang. He would like to be with them, which I think was pretty cool, because he obviously missed out on that time going after Nora Batty. So when he's actually older and he wants to spend time with them, he can't, because he's concluded and he's stuck. He's stuck with Nora Batty and he can't escape, which is kind of funny. So in the Series 2 episode, he tries to escape from Nora Batty. He goes away from her for a few weeks, and Compo's getting in there. He's being a smooth operator in a way, and he gets in there and takes control and does loads of weird stuff with her. He even makes her food and everything. And then Wally comes back and finds out, oh no, he is with her. And great stuff also when they go away on holidays and stuff. A great episode where they go to the seaside. I think it's Scarborough, I think they go to. Amazing episode, love that episode. And and there's there with whatever, all the characters are on holiday. Something else I'm going to mention is that when Joe Gladwin died in real life, they didn't really mention what happened to Wally. He just sort of disappeared, which I don't think was a good idea. I feel like they should have mentioned it, or at least acknowledged it. And that's something a lot of person who commented on the things asking about a video about Wally or Sid. James Brown, just want to give you a big shout out for suggesting this. And yeah, I think that was weird that they never are mentioned. I'm looking back at the episodes, it's not really like they're mentioned, but they do get mentioned towards the end of the series. I believe towards the end of the series, I think it's like series 27 or 28, they start getting mentioned. Even Sid gets mentioned by a photo and stuff, or maybe it's earlier than that. I think series 21 or something like that. After Compo dies, they realise, and Nora feels sorry about that, that she never spent more time with him, really, because she loved him. She loved both of them, to be fair. But it's really funny seeing, obviously, Kathy Starr and Joe Gladwin have a great chemistry and all that, because they're just so funny together. But it's so mad, this like tiny little man with this massive woman. It's just it's a bit funny, because I think Wally is about like 5'2", 5'1" or something, so he's quite short. And next with like, I think Nora's like 5'5" or something like that. So she's quite a lot taller than him. So it's quite quite funny. Them two pair together, really, because they're quite different. Like a really loud, kind of angrier woman, and then a little short pigeon man. You know what I mean? So I do like that relationship and how that works and everything. Something else I'm going to mention is, I mentioned earlier about motorbike and sidecar stuff and how they do that, and I really do enjoy that those kind of episodes. But there's particularly one thing where they go for a picnic and they get chased after this dog, and this dog is the dog that I'm going to mention is a whippet, and then Wally takes this whippet and that becomes its pet, and he has a pet for like the rest of the series with this whippet. And I thought that was really cool that he ended up getting this whippet, and Nora Batty was like, no, I don't want to whip it. But then obviously the dog was basically a stray dog, and they took the dog, and ever since then he kind of had a whippet. So I thought that was kind of cool that gave Wally that. Obviously he's a very kind of like kind-hearted kind of soul kind of thing, but as a character I think Wally's amazing. But something else I'm going to mention is that Joe Gladwin is actually a lot older than the rest of the last Smallville cast. So he was born in something like 1906 or 1907 or something, which makes him 100 years older than me. But just to point this out there, that he's like at least like 10, 15 years older than the trio, which I've never really thought about before. But apart from Compo, he's about 7 years younger. But yeah, I've never really thought about it like that he is that much older in the grand scheme of things, which is quite mad. But yeah, I feel like Wally does work well with all of the different kind of trios. Obviously he never got to work with Truly and all that, but I think he was a great character, and I feel like he would have worked well as part of the trios and stuff, but obviously due to the program, obviously he was obviously locked in the house, and it was kind of like a prison, and all he had was his pigeons, you know. I mean, his life wasn't really that bad. He had her to protect him. But yeah, it was always funny when she tries to get Wally to square up for her and try and protect her, because it's just so funny. Because like, it's just hilarious. I really love that character. Rest in peace, Joe Gladwin. I think he did an absolutely amazing job in Last in Summer Wine. And yeah, that's kind of what I say about Wally, is that as a character, he's amazing. Something else I'm going to mention about Wally is that in some of the Christmas episodes, it shows obviously Wally, and he's at home with Nora Batty, and they're having Christmas dinner and all that sort of stuff, and they're there with the rest of the family, and Wally actually despises some of Nora Batty's family, so he just wants to get away, and him and Sid sneak off, and they go and try and see if they can find, sorry about that, lost control of the camera there. Yeah, they try and see if they can go out for lunch with Compo, Clegg and Foggy, and they do. I think they try to do that at the end, but they're not in, so they end up going away. But I really do like the fact that him and Sid have this great kind of chemistry in a way. Like, they want to sneak off and do something else behind their wife's back, you know what I mean? But they, yeah, I think they're both really good characters. Don't know why the hell they married them two, but you know, it makes it more funny in a way. But yeah, Sid and Wally, I think, have a great kind of friendship and connection, which I think is amazing. Yeah, that's kind of what I can say about Wally Batty, a man who loves his pigeons, who loves his whippet, who loves his motorbike and sidecar, and beyond bonkersly loves Nora Batty. I mean, as a character, he's pretty amazing because he's just kind of the opposite of Nora Batty in like every way. A short little skinny man, you know what I mean? He's just kind of the complete opposite of Nora Batty. But I think that's why he's so beloved as a Last of Mine character, and it's just a great character in many ways. And even to his performance in the prequel as well, I feel like Wally needed to be in that prequel because obviously he had that friendship, and I do like it when they kind of muck around. They go to the fish and chip shop, and which used to be the cafe, which became the cafe. And yeah, that was all kind of great, really. They would go to the cinema together, all that kind of stuff when they were younger. And then as he got older, obviously he had family ties. Basically, he was tied to Nora Batty. There's nothing he could do to get away from it, apart from that Series 2 episode where he does get away. But he comes back, obviously, because he does love Nora Batty. It just doesn't look like it. That's kind of one of the key things. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Sorry about the camera kind of flip. That's it just happens. I'm outside in the lovely, lovely English countryside. Very lovely, isn't it? Yeah. And thanks for watching. And I just want to say a big shout out to James Brown for suggesting the idea about Wally Batty. And I'm hoping I can do a Sid one as well. So kind of, I don't know why they didn't mention that they had died, really. It's just a bit weird, really, because I feel like you would do that even as a little tribute to the character. But yeah, they do mention him towards the end, which I think was a good thing to do, particularly when Compo died. But yeah, I think Wally Batty as a character, solid character. I think he's better than Howard to me. Like, I prefer his relationship, him and Nora, the Wally and Nora, compared to that of Howard and Pearl, because I feel like in the later years he becomes more centre, and I don't know, Howard's alright, but he can be a bit annoying, can't he, to be fair. But yeah, love Lost from Wine, and he appeared from like the 70s all the way to I think the late 80s, and just a great character, really, and there's no faults, really. He's amazing. So hope you all enjoyed the video, and see you in a video soon. So bye for now.